Joe can't come, but he told me that before.
Right.
So we've got 3 different buildings here. That's okay.
4 builders.
All right. And you know what? With inquiries, they've got the inquiries, and for whatever reason there's a particular package they like
Jerry.
orders in here, I'll take the inquiry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's right there. I know which one of these. I did it. I just pressed them down.
Okay.
Do you have to keep pressing them? Hey.
Potentially.
Yeah, that's okay.
I checked a bunch of other rooms. They're all off.
We'll just keep pressing the aircon. Just keep pressing it.
Oh, okay.
Because it has like a cut off and it just cuts out some
Yeah, that's okay.
energy saving maybe. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
no. So when people start sweating,
We'll be like, whoop, we'll click that in.
Would you want me to sit? You want me to sit in the green stool, or what were you thinking?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I think green stool. It's up to you.
Yeah, it doesn't bother
on
me.
the green stool's fine. Yeah. Oh, wait, these are not working. Sorry. Did these just stop working? Did they stop working? Yeah. Jesus. I'll just. Is it? All right, what's on there now? They've turned off. I'm not even kidding.
So, the flyers and all that for house
I need help.
in here? No.
Ashish.
Okay. of
Christina. Can you get the monitors working, please? Can you please try and get the monitors working? The monitors are not working. Can you get the monitors working, please? Tech Guru. Is there a remote or something? Yeah, right there. Is it just power on? Oh yeah. Okay. That worked. Thank you. Awesome. That was an easy fix, yeah.
Are we
Beautiful.
all here?
Is that good to go? Alrighty.
Downstairs? Okay, so.
All right, you guys all sit down because and keep that with you in case it turns off again for me. At the back is fine, but it just looks a bit fuller, Or at the front? Yeah, no, I'm joking. Yeah, sit at the front. Might as well. Yep. Sit down.
Ali.
No, just chuck it in the bag. No, conflict of interest. Oh, yes, thank you. I'll leave these. No worries. All right.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's kick
I'm
it
ready.
off.
This
All
one,
right.
that one, right, left?
Yeah, you can
What
go
would you
over
like?
there.
Over
I'll
here?
go here. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
I've got to talk to the screen, so I might
Of
move
course.
around a bit. When you're talking, I'll sit and just listen.
With a name like Marino, I'm constantly using my hands.
Yeah, okay, that's good then. Wait, let's get our mics.
I got the.
You got the lapel?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, it's here. You need this one.
Yeah?
That one is just for the video camera.
I see.
This one's for the. Oh, do you want me to hand this over to
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Okay. Testing. All right. Welcome, everyone.
Behave.
Amazing. First of all, thank you everyone for coming tonight. On behalf of SwoopLand and NAB, we appreciate you all coming out, and hopefully this session is informative and it helps you to make the decision you need to find your dream home. So let's get started. First, what we're going to start with is an acknowledgement of country. I'm not very good at memorising, so I'm going to read it off the screen. So NAB recognises, and SwoopLand recognises Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the first Australian people, the traditional custodians of the land where we live and work. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and we're proud to live in a country which is home to the world's oldest living cultures. So a little bit of an agenda for tonight. I'll be really quick, but just an overview of what you will be listening to tonight. So first, little welcome, a brief introduction for myself and Nick and what we're here for. Top tips for first home buyers. We'll go through budget planner, documents, pre-approval, what that process looks like. We will touch on the home guarantee scheme, which I'm sure a few of you potentially are first home buyers in the room, which is nice and exciting with all the changes. SwoopLand will then go through a session around, why go with SwoopLand? Why Austral? Why Leppington? What's amazing about the block of land out there? There will be the announcement of the first prize. So we have some amazing prizes up there. So I hope you filled out your survey to go in the draw. Next steps will be how to book an appointment with a banker, reviewing your borrowing capacity, or chatting to SwoopLand. And then the very last thing will be meet and greet. So, and then we'll go through the last prizes as well for the night. Sound good? Let's get started. All right, so introduce myself. My name is Megan Tan. I've been at NAB now for 16 years. I've worked pretty much in every role, I would say, in our retail banking sector. And the part that I love the most is supporting our customers, like all of you, who are looking to get into that home ownership journey, supporting them through their home loan process and beyond with all of their banking needs. So that's me, but I'll pass it over to Nick.
Thanks, Meg. Hi everyone, my name's Nick Marino, Head of Sales and Acquisitions for SwoopLand. For those who aren't familiar with SwoopLand, we are a land developer. We acquire, we develop land from its entirety, from start to finish. We work closely with a lot of builders. Today it's very much about talking about some of the areas that we've explored, the reasons why we've actually chosen those areas that we are going to develop, and just to sort of give you a bit of an overview of the current market situation, some of the opportunities that are available, and also a bit of a due diligence test that we believe can be utilised not just through developers like ourselves, but also first home buyers and investors. So welcome. It's not easy to come to these seminars sometimes, middle of the night or coming close to the evening. So, both Meg and I tonight just really want to give a bit of an overview of what is out there, some of the opportunities that are out there, and hopefully it's a great evening. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome.
Fantastic. All right, let's get in. So some of these might be obvious, right? But it's super important to make sure we're prepared when thinking about buying a home. And for most of us, unless you're super lucky to not have a mortgage, I know I'm not that lucky, I have a mortgage, then there's a few things you need to really consider and think about before going into the home ownership journey. So, no one's in there?
I think that's our guest speaker.
Yeah, I know. Here they come. No, that's a joke. No one's coming out of that door, hopefully. All right, so understanding your borrowing capacity is really important. Obviously, if you're going to go look at a property, you want to make sure that you have the ability to borrow up to X amount to achieve that outcome, right? So pre-approval will certify that for you. So going through that process, and we've got some amazing bankers here tonight who are more than happy to chat you through that, but you want to make sure that you're prepared and you go in knowing exactly how much you can borrow. Creating a budget plan, again, another thing that's really important that we don't always talk about are the little things here and there that all add up, and you want to make sure you have enough in that savings account of yours to get you there. So things like stamp duty, if it's applicable, legal fees, moving costs. You're going to move into a brand new house. You want the best furnishings, right? So you want to make sure that all of those things, you got all your ducks in a row, and you're ready to go. Also gathering necessary documents. Again, it seems like common sense, but just making sure you're well prepared when it comes to, your proof of income, your savings, your identification, just streamlining that process from beginning to end, right? And then the last one, and I'll go into more detail, but taking advantage of the home guarantee scheme. So the government is there to support, and that will take me into this page here. You'll be able to see this also on the government page, but who does the scheme help? So first home buyers with a minimum of 5% deposit, but also single parents or legal guardians with up to 2% deposit. So, which is absolutely phenomenal, because we all know in this day and age, if you want a property and you're looking at $1 million property, if you would need to have, for a normal, going for a loan for a bank, you need to have $200,000 of savings. That doesn't include your stamp duty or any other costs, right? Which can be sometimes virtually impossible to be able to save, right? But only having to get 5% for that property means you'll get into your home sooner. The key features are, low deposit, no income caps. I don't know if you knew the previous scheme, there were income caps, which almost, again, eliminated a lot of our market because people earned too much and they were over the threshold, they weren't able to be eligible. No LMI, so save up on upfront cost. There's a wide variety of home loan types that we can support our customers with. And then there's unlimited spots and no waiting periods. So previous to that, there were. And it's great to see now, if you have a look at the price cap for the property, the prior one was a lot lower at 850K. I've already forgotten because I'm so excited about the 1.5 mil. Because in Sydney these days, what can we buy? Nothing, right? Unless you want to live in, really small unit or, very, very, very far, like 2 hours from Sydney. It's very, very hard to find, in a really nice area where you could buy a house you couldn't find it for $850. There's no way. So opening that up to so many more opportunities. Eligibility criteria, really important to know. So Australian citizens or permanent residents, and I'm sure everyone here is over 18, I hope. Yes? Nodding? Everyone's over 18? Yep. No, I'm joking. Buying a home in Australia priced at or below the price cap, so below the 1.5, will live in their home as owner-occupied. So it's not for investment purpose, it's only for an owner-occupied purpose. And then applying for an owner-occupied home loan with principal and interest repayments for up to 30 years. And then for NAB's policy, because obviously you guys are going to be building as well, so you're going to be buying land and building, it would be for up to 2 years for the construction period. For the first home buyer, so in addition to that, that's all applicants. For first home buyer, it's saved. You must have saved a minimum of 5% deposit. You must be a first home buyer or you haven't owned a home or land in Australia in the last 10 years. Or apply on your own or jointly with one other person, so a partner, friend or family member, which is good, widens the scope.
Not any age.
No age limit, no, as long as you're over 18. Yeah, we don't exclude anyone, which is good, and the government has noticed that. As long as you're the first home buyer, doesn't matter, yeah. And then for the single parent or legal guardian, saved a minimum of 2%, so even better, even more opportunity. Cannot own another home or have another property that they have interest in, and apply on your own, no joint applications for that particular scenario. So the good thing is, like I said, the bankers are here as well. So if you do have any specific questions that might be tailored specifically to your situation, after this presentation, please feel free to come and ask one of them. They're more than happy to workshop it with you and see what they can do. And this is the lending team that I was talking about. Aren't they amazing? I mean, I'm paid to say that, but they are pretty amazing.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, they are. Andrea, Christina, Ashish and Ali, they're up the front, and we have our amazing coach Steph here. So if you do have any questions, like I said, please feel free to come and reach out. Yeah, thanks for the wave. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Nick. Just give us a couple of minutes. We just got to do a bit of a swap of slideshow. I'll get Jojo to do that. And I just want to remind everyone, has everyone done their, because there's a few people that just joined. There is this on your chair. If you haven't done it, would you be able to complete that for me now? Because I do want you to be able to go in the draw to win one of our amazing prizes, which is going to be called out straight after Nick's session. Beautiful. I'll give you a couple of moments to complete and I'll come and grab them off you. I'll give you that. And we'll just connect this up for you. Just connect that up. Turn my Bluetooth off. For those who just came, does anyone want a drink? A Coke? Coke Zero? You're fine? There's water also in the bag.
Okay. Thanks, Jojo. Forward. That one? Sure? No?
Oh, is the thing still in your laptop?
I turned off my Bluetooth.
Is it Bluetooth? Or is it, do you have to connect it to the laptop?
Bluetooth. They don't have the USB. Yeah, if you can. Thank you.
Of course.
While we're waiting, might as well grab the rest of the flyers.
Sure.
Yep.
I hope you don't mind, everyone. I do
the
have a
bag, in the bag.
tendency
There's
to
pens
walk
in the
around
bag.
the room when I talk, so tonight we're just going to have a bit of a chat. No go. Yeah? You're going to...
Sure. Do you want
sure?
me to try and do a little connect? Let me
Great.
have a look. Oh, sorry, it's not touchscreen. Oh my gosh.
All under control, Stephanie?
There we go.
Good on you.
Oh, Thank you.
There's 2 more.
Yep. Is that connecting? Do I need to press anything? Oh, these two. Oh, that one. Okay. I don't know what the other one is. No, it's definitely not. I disconnected it. I turned my
You and Roy,
Bluetooth.
dual act?
It's very weird. Okay, we might need to do maybe. Yeah, I'll try. There we go. That should work. Nope. Sorry, nothing like a few tech issues that, you know.
While we're waiting for IT, is anybody familiar with that quote, by the way? Anyone? Anyone? No one? No one in this room is familiar with Mark Twain? No? Yeah? Familiar with that quote? When you read that quote,
My Bluetooth is off. Do I need
What
to
does it
disconnect
say?
instead?
what's it telling us?
Let me forget it.
Yeah, buy land. But why?
They're not making it anymore.
Yeah. So what does it mean? If they're not making something, it becomes more
Valuable.
correct. If it becomes more valuable, it's worth a lot more. Beautiful. Okay, we ready to go? You're going to do it for me? Okay.
Sorry.
Firstly, I wanted to thank Meg and her delightful team for giving us the opportunity to do this little collaboration together. Great, wonderful people, especially Andrea and Meg and the rest of the guys that I've only really met tonight. So, look, over the years, myself and a lot of my colleagues, and it's part of the industry, seminars, educational seminars, giving potential buyers, not just buyers, but agents, everyone. We're all pretty much, I guess, embodied in the real estate property industry market, and you can't have property without finance and vice versa. Okay, it just doesn't work. Okay, so I'm delighted to be part of this seminar, working with the NAB guys, and hopefully, walking out of this room tonight, you'll have a better understanding of obviously the new government scheme, which we really have to applaud. I'm 57. When I first bought a property back in 1997, there was a first home buyers grant, but it was means tested, and there were so many layers in terms of challenges that prevented people actually getting into the market. So to see the government, and I'm either pro-Liberal or pro-Labor, but to see the government introduce an initiative that allows people to get into the market. Well, the numbers don't lie, guys. If you either watch telly or listen to a podcast or do whatever you need to do, you can see that the market is starting to boil, and it's starting to get hotter and hotter and hotter. And those inquiries, particularly from a development point of view, those development inquiries now are becoming actually commitments. Yeah? People actually securing their block of land. They're now getting towards an exchange. 12 months ago, it was just more about the inquiry, and the bank probably would have had the same. Look, we're looking at the market, we want to find out what our borrowing capacity is, okay? But the reality is, every time there is a rates adjustment, particularly if the rates go down, borrowing capacities increase, people become more confident, and of course what tends to happen, they'll end up paying a tad more, or outbid whoever's going to be at that auction, and in theory, what will happen, property prices will increase. And that's been happening in Australia for well over the last 100 years, okay? And there's plenty of data out there to suggest that what will happen is that when rates do drop, there's just an increase in consumer confidence, okay? You guys will see it, okay? We tend to see it, our agents in this room tend to see it, and more importantly, the mums and dads, all the investors are getting in the market because they know money is becoming more affordable, okay? And tonight is not just about what we do, but sort of shed a little bit of light on how we go about things at SwoopLand and most land developers. Because we're out there monitoring the market, looking at data, looking at the next boom suburb, okay? Has anybody seen Back to the Future? Yeah? Back to the
While
Future?
ago.
Don't be shy, it's not like I'm saying Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I mean, yeah? Okay. Wouldn't you love to have the DeLorean? Yeah? The time machine? Yeah? Okay? Now, I'm not sure how many people in this room have been in this country for 20, 30, 40 years, but whether you've been here for 5 years or 50 years, one thing you will see, and have a look at how the landscape does change, okay? When I first started entering the industry with A.B. Jennings back in 1998, nobody had heard of Cherrybrook, Castle Hill, Pennant Hills, Borkham Hills, Beaumont Hills, then the ponds. Oh, can't go to the ponds, it's way too far. Yeah? And then what happened? Those roads became developed, infrastructure improved, yeah? And then all of a sudden it leaked over, didn't it? It went into Riverstone. Oh, no, nobody will ever buy at Riverstone. Of course they have. And then what happens? Box Hill, etc., etc. History repeats itself, guys. Okay? The reality is, most people now in New South Wales, particularly first-time buyers that want to get in the market, if they can't afford the northwestern part of Sydney, which is your Box Hills, where are they going to go? They've got to go south. Yeah? Southwest Corridor. We saw it with Hinchinbrook, yeah? Hoxton Park, yeah? Edmondson Park, Bardia. So what's the next cab off the rank? Austral, Leppington, yeah? There was a massive void between those suburbs. And then all of a sudden you went straight into Gledswood Hills, yeah? Gregory Hills, Oran Park, okay? Now we're moving down to Menangle, okay? Another 5-10 years we'll be doing subdivisions on the outskirts of, you know, Canberra, Goulburn, okay? Point I'm trying to make, guys, is that real estate, making money in the real estate industry, it's all about time and doing your homework. You know what I mean? Seriously, I can't elaborate that enough. And that's what we try to do at SwoopLand. We rack the numbers, we look at the areas, and effectively what we try to do is try to highlight and acquire land, not only for our investors and our organisation, but also to provide subdivisions that are going to be suitable for mums and dads and investors, etc., to effectively move into a thriving suburb, you know. The suburbs that you would have seen 15, 20 years ago, that's going to be Austral and Leppington in another 5-10 years. Mark my words, okay? So, a little bit about me. We've, our marketing guru, Jojo Dong, who I cannot praise enough, ladies and gentlemen, seriously.
Yes.
This woman is an absolute dynamo, as is all the rest of our other team. In fact, I might just take the opportunity to get our guys. Alan Lung, our Managing Director and Founder, okay. Michael, Head of IT Guru, put your hand up, Michael. Helen, where's little Helen? Our guru over there, Helen. Naomi, Andy, our Queensland Manager. We're all here. Look, so that insert was put together today, give us a little bit of a rundown on what we do. But effectively, we identify, acquire, we carry out our feasibilities, and then at that point we go ahead and commence development of our land subdivisions. So, Jojo, as a developer, we get involved with a lot of community gatherings. We were fortunate enough to work with so thank you, Open Lot. How can I forget Open Lot? I've got the CEO of Open Lot standing in front of me here, Jazz. So we were invited to appear on the Channel 9 TV show New Neighbourhoods, and that was fantastic. It was one hell of an experience. I really now have a lot more admiration now for people that work on Home and Away and all that. Having a camera
the makeup
and everything, yeah. So that was really good. And look, I guess what I'm trying to say is that we were identified because ourselves, along with the Castle Group, Crown Land, Stocklands, have all invested in the southwestern corridors of Sydney. Okay, we all follow the same data. We all know what's going to happen in those areas. And tonight, I'm going to shed a little bit about that. If you haven't already noticed some of the significant changes that have happened through Austral and Leppington in particular. Okay, I'm going to cover a little bit about land, what we do. Break it a few things down. I'm not going to go into it because what have we got? 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. So effectively, if you can have a look at the screens, there's all various different types of lands. Yeah, residential, commercial, industrial, conservative, agriculture, recreation, forest land. But we're going to focus on residential because that's what we do. Yeah, provide housing. I guess probably the easiest way for me to explain this is to break it up into three. Okay, single, low density housing, which is pretty much what most of us would be looking at in terms of building and house to land space. I've tried to break it down so we can understand generally most subdivisions that you see throughout Australia, particularly New South Wales, you'll tend to come across these three different types of block types, okay? I've got a few builders in the room here today. The most one that they absolutely love is this one, yeah? Most of us do, right? Let's be honest. 10 metre traditional building front. Builders have already got existing plans, so you don't need to appoint an architect, yeah? 15 years ago, the minimum frontage was about 15 metres, right? Then it went down to 14, then it went down to 12, then it went down to 10, and now you're lucky to get one at 9 or 8, yeah? Yes. So, and at the same time, what's happened to pricing? It's increased, right? You know, 10, 15 years ago, people would laugh when we say the biggest block of land we've got is 450 square metres. You know, some people would say, geez, Nick, you can't even put a caravan on that. And now, of course, 450 square metres is like an acre.
Yeah.
Yeah? We only sold one the other day. 450 square metres, $925,000. Yeah? I mean, if I said that 10 years ago, people would think, I've lost it, seriously. But it was the same conversation we've had 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago. Okay? Point I'm trying to make is, guys, the market does not stop. It will continue. Yes, there's going to be a correction. Okay? It is a market. There's corrections in the share market, the crypto market, and the property market, right? The beauty about the property market is that banks, NAB, CBA, the big major fours, love real estate, love bricks and mortar. Why? It's safe, isn't it? Secure. Everybody needs basically a roof over their head. And the unfortunate part in this country is that it's going to just get harder and harder and harder, okay? So you need to be in the market, guys. You really do. You need to be in the market. Because we see a lot of patterns developing, especially in most parts of Europe, Southern Europe, Italy, where my folks are from, France, Spain. Property prices have gone to a level where literally people just can't afford to get in, so property gets passed down through generation, and I'm sure that probably happens in some Asian countries, South America, whatever the case may be, but it becomes so expensive that properties get passed down, okay? So, back to the low density blocks. Traditional blocks, yep, every builder loves them, all the designs are there. Now we have what we call rear-loaded blocks. Anyone familiar? Not familiar or have heard of rear-loaded blocks? Or rear access blocks? Yes? No? Don't be shy, guys. Tonight is about learning. Okay, biggest difference here is that rear-loaded blocks, you can't put a garage at the front. Simple as that. Okay? Where does the garage go? From the rear. Okay? I live in the inner west. If you go to Stanmore, Annandale, heaps of houses like this. Okay? Why? Because the blocks are quite narrow. And most of the homes were then built in the early 1900s, late 1800s, so therefore there's no such thing as a garage. They're pretty much right to the frontage. But these are becoming more and more and more popular, okay? I love these blocks, and I'll tell you why. Because one, most traditional blocks, unless you've got a 10 metre frontage, forget about it. You're not going to get a double garage, okay? You're going to be restricted to a single garage, okay? You need 10 metres upwards to get a double. Even then, it has to be a zero allotment. With a rear-loaded block, most of these blocks, you'll be able to incorporate a double garage, okay? Because you won't need the garage and the house. That rear is all allocated for a garage, okay? And the more creative builders that I work with and deal with, what we've done is we will create a home here, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, whatever the case may be. The back of the block will incorporate and build a double garage, yeah? There's another tick. And then to go one step further, we will then build a studio, a self-contained studio, a 1-bedroom studio, a man cave, a woman cave, somewhere to put your in-laws. Rent it out, whatever the case may be. Either way, you're getting a second dwelling. I've got Meg put down.
Yeah, I already got one. I got one, it's important.
Yeah. And it's a second income. So for investors, or even for somebody that, extended families, very, very popular. A whole lot of them at Bardia, Edmondson Park, and now they're becoming more and more prominent in Austral and in Leppington. And as blocks become smaller and smaller in size, and as these frontages start getting more and more narrow, Guarantee you're going to see more of these, okay? More of these. Now, the third one I'm going to touch on is battle axe blocks, okay? Nobody likes a battle axe block, but you know, all know what they are, right? Okay? Effectively, your house isn't going to be on the front street. Generally, there's a block of land here, yeah? And your house is going to be literally a service driveway behind the house. Now, over the years, with some of the builders that I used to work with, we always found it a challenge to take these to market because people love the idea of driving up your street, yeah, and seeing the front of the house and running in, etc., etc. It doesn't happen with that. But if you look at some of the pros of these particular blocks, they provide a lot of privacy, yeah? It's a lot more safe, secure. Also, they're a lot cheaper than a traditional block. Now, why are they a lot cheaper? In a nutshell, pretty much because nobody wants them. But that's not the only reason. From a building point of view, and some of the builders will probably agree with me here, services, of course, the connection to services and all the other bits and pieces will make building a little bit more expensive. But when you outweigh the costs associated with building on a battle axe compared to the savings you can make, you're way in front. Believe me, don't dismiss them, okay? Don't dismiss them. And we've got a few blocks in our subdivisions to show you. Okay, so I've pretty much covered that. So the most conventional things, this is a sample design from Mikasa Homes, okay? Very, very popular design. We've got the gentlemen here representing Mikasa, Joshua and Aldo. This has been a great seller, okay? It's provided really well and sits not too fast there. Jojo, slow it down. Let me pull her in. Yep. This is just an example. And the reason we've shown this tonight is just so you can see some of the homes that can obviously be built on some of these traditional blocks, okay? And that sort of home could possibly fit on most blocks, but just as a guide. And we've also got samples, and we've got brochures tonight, both available hard copy as well as electronic copy to share with you in terms of what we have, okay? But all the builders that we work with, they've got a whole range of designs, okay, stock standard designs. Try to stick to those if you go down that path of house and land, which is what I'm going to be talking a little bit later. Because if you go down the other path of custom, of course it is going to cost a lot more, okay? Bearing in mind if you're starting from scratch. So that would be your typical home that would fit on a traditional block. Okay, reloaded, again, I mentioned beforehand, accesses from the rear, garage at the back, and here's another example, one of our builders. Remember I was saying to you before? There's the front of the house, okay? Bedroom. Access from here, and then you go one step. You have that builder studio on top. It's a no-brainer, guys, seriously. What are we talking, Aldo? An extra 80 grand, $90,000? Yeah? Aldo over here from Mikasa, voted, I don't know, what were you, the best estimator of the year for the last 3 or 4 years in succession or something. He'll tell you, for an extra $70,000, $80,000, what are you picking up for? $400, $450 a week? If, probably more. By the time you settle on this land and the time you build it, as crazy as you may think, people aren't going to pay it, believe me. You ask anybody, LJ Hooker, Ray White out in Liverpool, Austral, and they can tell you right now, you're getting $350, $400, $450 a week easy, no brainer, okay? So that is huge for reload blocks. And then the final one is battle axe blocks, which I covered before. Again, with a battle axe, they tend to be a lot larger than most traditional blocks. So you do have a bit more scope in terms of getting a larger footprint, okay? The only things you need to be mindful about, of course, is the setbacks here and there. But again, we work with so many builders that will be able to sit down with you and go, we've got the block, this is what we're thinking in terms of design, and then you can go from there. Yeah? Okay? All right, we're going to cover a checklist. Now, Alan and I, our managing director, founder for over years, he's escaped. He's left the building. We generally go through a checklist when we look at sourcing land, and you know, it's probably a day that doesn't go past where we get phone calls from local agents asking us if we're interested in buying this parcel. We normally buy parcels of land from 5 acres to 10, 15, 20,000 acres. And some of the things that we do consider, which I thought would be important to share with you tonight, particularly for first-time buyers, is get an understanding of some of the key points. Okay, now some might not apply, but really if you look at the basics, you know, one of the things you always hear when you talk about property, it's all about location, yeah? Okay? And that's definitely off the list in terms of location. It has to be close to amenities, it has to be close to major roads. We want to see infrastructure. We want to make sure that the zoning is going to be residential, okay? There's no point looking at it for a block of land residential and finding out that you're going to build a 7-Eleven there. It's not going to happen, guys, okay? All right? So that's very, really important. Land size and shape, infrastructure, strong market demand. All these points are key, okay? But the one essential one, which I'm going to highlight, before you start doing all these bits and pieces and so forth, seriously, go and chat to the bank. You know, it's no brainer. No point doing all this same if they find out you can't afford a toaster. Seriously. And I don't want to sound really, really condescending, but got to get that part right. You've got to talk to the bank. You've got to find out what are your limitations. Okay? How much can I borrow? Okay? It puts you in a great position, especially with real estate agents. And there's a few of them in this room. All right? You want to give them the impression to say, hey, I'm covered here, I'm ready to go. It just puts you in a better position to start, obviously, negotiating a better price, okay? Money talks, guys, seriously. Your legal due diligence, always best to get a solicitor, or if you're going to get a conveyancer or a solicitor, make sure they're one that is very familiar with property law. And then, of course, your project timeline, all right? Now, as developers, it's very possible for us to start talking to a vendor today and not necessarily have the opportunity to go to site until 3 years from now, okay? It is a very, very long process, okay? And there's no one here to blame, right? We don't have anyone from Liverpool Council, do we? No, you didn't hear me say that. But anyway, so working with councils, working with utilities like Sydney Water, et cetera, has its challenges, yeah? Now in Australia, we're highly, highly regulated. And that's a good thing, but also sometimes it comes at a cost, delays. Even with the bank, you know yourselves. Like I was saying beforehand, part of this great opportunity is that you allow lending up to 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's very common, because obviously at house and land packages,
Yeah, all the time.
bingo, okay? It will take 2 years, 18 months. You know, very, very common. When we buy the land, we finally exchange, and we've got an example at the moment with Leppington Square, where we've literally now just closed off the estate. The land will all be cleared, and possibly, let's say 12 months from now, you know, the roads, everything will be complete, and then way to go. So, you know, from the financial point of view, it's very important to get those timelines right, because as you know, pre-approval, what's the last these days? A month,
90 days.
90 days. And then they have to go through the whole process again. You know what I mean? So my advice to everyone is when you start looking, at least have that conversation first. Find out what you can borrow. It's also an opportunity to find out what your CRA is like and all that sort of stuff. If you go ahead and do a loan submission, you just want to make sure you're in the game, seriously. Get that important part done, okay? All right, why Leppington and Austral, okay? Who doesn't know where Leppington and Austral are, by the way? Roy, that's not you. Roy, that's not you putting up your hand, is it? No? Okay, well, let me tell you, Leppington and Austral, you know, 30, 35, 40 years ago, a lot of immigrants that came to this country, probably even earlier now, you know, particularly the Italians, the Maltese, okay? A lot of them, particularly ones from southern parts of Italy, Sicily, Calabria. These people were used to sort of living in areas that were semi-rural. So a lot of them didn't move in like my folks into the Haberfields and the Five Docks and Leichhardt. They moved out west, yeah, southwest. Some moved out northwest, your Cat Eyes and your Kenthursts and all that sort of stuff. And the reason I'm telling you this, guys, is because it's so important. When you invest in property, you really got to think to say, hey, will history repeat itself? And it does. It really, really does. Leppington and Austral were pretty much all semi-rural, okay? Austral being 3 acres, Leppington pretty much 5 acres. Growers markets, piggeries, rabbit farms, and God knows what else we've uncovered under that soil, okay? Point of the matter is that what tends to happen after there is obviously a massive demand for the urban sprawl to grow, those areas become rezoned, okay? And all of a sudden that farmer, 30, 40 years ago, who bought, 5 acres thinking he's just going to grow some tomatoes, a few bits and pieces, raise some sheep, realises that, guess what? This place is now zoned to R2. It's now worth
Sitting on a gold
10,
mine.
15, 20, 25 million dollars. I'm not kidding you. That's what sort of money you're talking about when you're talking at buying at 3, 5, 10 acres. And this is one of the reasons why, in turn, that price will eventually filter down to the mum and dad market, okay? And it has, and it always will. There is no doubt whatsoever. If anything happens to the property market, there are enough initiatives in place for the government to pull it back, to throw incentives. Because let's be honest, right? We've all got assets out there, we've all got our preferred assets, but real estate very much in this country has and probably always will be the #1 preferred asset. Certainly backed by the banks, okay? And if the banks are all over it, you need to be in it. Seriously, simple as that. Okay, so why southwest of Sydney? Massive data here, guys, seriously. Now, I don't know how much you guys appreciate stats and get guided by stats, but that's all we pretty much do. Numbers don't lie. $5.3 billion to the Western Sydney International Airport. Anyone in this room haven't been out there yet? Okay? You all been out there and seen the site? Don't throw your hands all at once, guys. Yeah, you all been there? Yeah? Yeah? Have I put you to sleep already? No? Okay, you got to go there, seriously. It's probably one of the biggest massive infrastructure developments that has started in this country since probably World War II, World War I. Unbelievable, okay? Very much on track. We send clients out there a lot. We work a lot with the team there at Western Sydney Airport, and it really is. It's amazing. And what it also does, it really just shows you the magnitude or how much land is required to have an operational airport. It's just crazy, right? And again, this land was all semi-rural, okay? It was all semi-rural 15, 20 years ago, well, not even that, less than that. And of course now, with the airport, with new infrastructure, with freeways, transport links, look at that. The place is just blowing. And I really like this, because what it shows you are the linking of infrastructure and roads and railway tracks, okay? Property tends to go through the roof when you can get a resident going from point A to point B in less time. Fact. Simple as that. If you can make it easier for people to get to Leppington to Parramatta, or the CBD to Penrith, or any other points from point A to B, guess what? It's going to be reflective in the property market. There's no doubt about that. Okay? And we've seen it time and time and time again. And I'm going back 20, 30 years ago, the M5, yeah? Before the M5 was built, people were using bloody Henry Lawson Drive. You didn't know whether you were going to Liverpool or to Canberra. Seriously, right? Single carriage road. And of course then what happened? The M5 gets built, even though some of the people in government didn't realise they built it maybe 3 lanes instead of 1. But what did it do? It opened up that southwestern corridor. And these areas all of a sudden just popped up. Hoxton Park, Hinchinbrook, Oran Park, all these areas have just grown through the use of infrastructure. And as a result, those areas have just gone through the roof and exploded in price. We expect the same to happen with Austral and Leppington. And we're already seeing it, okay? Prior COVID, post-COVID, you name it, okay? I'm sure there were people in this room that I've had conversations with 5, 6, 7 years ago who were saying to me, Nick, a 300 square metre block at Leppington, you're charging, 400, 450, you're crazy? And I said,
Cheap
well,
now.
And now we're talking 700K. Crazy, huh?
Mm.
And I'm sure in another 3, 4 years' time, if we have the same presentation, and I'm going to be quoting your figures, 850, 900, no doubt, okay? And you just don't need to take my word for it. There's enough data out there for you to have a look at. But just have a look at this before you flick it over, Jojo. With the airport, not only does it become more, obviously, improved infrastructure, there's jobs, okay? And what do we know about basic economics? When there's jobs, people need to live close to those jobs, yeah? Okay? Infrastructure is going to improve, so people are going to be able to get closer to the airport. Believe me, most of the people are going to live from Parramatta onwards, south, west and north, will be using the new airport 2 or 3 years for domestic flights. The rest of us, the remaining on the other side, will be using Mascot. And then over the years, Western Airport will literally become the #1 airport because there will be 3 runways. And we're talking between now right up to about, I think it's 2045 or something like that. It's massive, guys. It's huge, okay? Huge. And with that, I believe, and not just me, but a number of people believe that there's going to be 2 major suburbs that are going to be major beneficiaries of the growth, and that's Austral and Leppington. Okay, you can probably throw Bringelly into that mix, a couple other little suburbs, but most of the land that's been rezoned in Austral and Leppington is going to be for residential, not commercial, not light industrial. Yeah, more housing. So more housing means more amenities, better shopping centres, doctors, whatever, all the services associated with having a thriving suburb. Okay, so very important. All right, I think we've got a prize to give away. We're doing a little quiz. So, there looks like some highly intelligent people in this room.
Well, good guess.
So the quiz, we've got a prize. I think it was a night out with one of our builders. Is that correct? No? No? Okay. All right. So the question is, what's the average percentage? Meg, you can be the judge. First person that puts their hand up gets the answer right.
Yep.
Okay. So this is the question.
Watching.
What's the average percentage of appreciation that land in Leppington has experienced over the past 5 years?
There's a hand over here. Yes. 24.
24%. Any other takers? It depends.
Okay, over here. Oh, that'd be 24. 100.
So what have we got? 24.
One more.
We've got 100. 120. Any takers? Any
We'll
more
take
takers?
one more.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
This calculation has been taken into account on average per block based on individuals, mums and dad buy it, not acreage on a macro level. So your 300, your 350, 400 square metre blocks. We've taken an average. So we have... It's a good guess. 10%. 10%? Okay. Any other takers? Jojo, do you want to reveal?
Who's the closest? 100. Someone, yeah, winner. We do have a winner over here. Very
now,
good.
I must add, Sudan actually wrote past to this script. No. Yeah, 100%. It's huge. Yeah, in 5 years. And I know there's probably, well, I do. I know people that have obviously bought there 5 years ago, bought there even earlier, and have done exceptionally well. Okay? That's not to say that this market is going to drop. No, there's enough evidence out there to suggest that obviously with the new airport, all the new infrastructure, that it'll correct itself, okay? There's no doubt, something has to give, okay? But we certainly believe, and all the data out there, and all state government and all the other entities out there are suggesting that Leppington and Austral will continue to grow at quite a very, very competitive pace. Okay, all right, we've got another prize.
Another prize.
Another prize. Okay, Sudan, you can't put your hand up for this time. That's okay. All right, so what's the average percentage of appreciation that land in Austral has experienced over the past 5 years?
100. 75.
Yeah. Who said
Like
120?
I'm at an auction.
120? 100?
85, we've got 85 over here, Andrew, from the Nova Group
150?
boys.
90?
90,
Good number. What do you reckon?
85, 90, any takers? 100,
I said 100.
Yeah.
all right, we've
Conflict of interest.
got an argument taking place here, we might have to get Aldo looking after security. Okay, go ahead Jojo. 90%.
90. We did get a 90, yes.
Who said 90?
Winner. Well done.
Andrew said 90, we're 85.
Close.
Cheryl.
Snort.
Okay, so as you can see, I mean, we're not talking 5%, 7% growth, guys, significant growth, and this is probably a great one to look at, okay, in terms of, you know, the growth and the projected growth of some of these estates. Now, for those of you that aren't aware, Austral comes under Liverpool Council, yeah, and Leppington comes under Camden Council, okay, and then of course you've got all the other surrounding councils. Wingarribee, where you start talking, you know, going further down south, you know, your Wilton areas and further past Camden, etc., etc. So when you look at that, you're pretty much going to see that, you know, under Camden Council, under, you know, that Leppington pathway, you're going to see a lot more growth. You're going to see a lot more dwellings being built. You're going to see a lot more land being released, and you're going to see a lot more improvement in roads. You know, at the moment now, you drive through some of these suburbs and there's still single carriageway. It's all going to change. It's going to be dual carriageway. They're going to be sealed. State government's not going to do it now. Why? Because there's just so much construction happening. They're not going to spend billions and billions of dollars of resealing all the roads only to find they're going to get ripped up a year later by, you know, lorry trucks, etc. It will happen, okay? You've got to be patient, especially in real estate, okay? But that's huge, okay? 130% growth. Some of you people would probably be familiar with some of these figures. You know, again, I'm showing you this just to show in the last 5 years. You know, it's all good talking about percentages, but when you see the numbers, 357 square metre block, 380k. You know, 357, 380. Today you're in the late 700s, early 800s. Okay? Like I said, wasn't that, I think it was yesterday or the day before, we sold it at 450 square metre block, 925, 930k. Crazy numbers. And again, this is not to show you, to put you off to say, oh, it's had its growth. Far from it, okay? We're only at the tip of the iceberg with Austral and Leppington, okay? Tip of the iceberg. And of course, you would have seen that when Meg was explaining in terms of the 5% policy. There's a reason why the state government have got the limit now at 1.5, yeah? Okay, there's a reason. They're starting to recognise that. And some other places around Australia and Queensland, I think it's 1 million, or Melbourne, 1 million.
Just under, but yeah, it's
almost Queensland.
doubled what it was prior. Yeah.
And Queensland's always been the poorer cousin to New South Wales and Victoria, yeah? Now it's sort of like the richer brother.
Hope there's no Queenslanders in the room, but yes, you're right.
Most Victorians, I saw something staggering the other day, most Victorians now are leaving the state, and guess where they're moving to? Queensland, okay? It used to be one of the most affordable states, not anymore. The median house price in Queensland has actually surpassed now Victoria, okay? That's not to diminish anything on Victoria, because Victoria's got plenty of upside in potential, believe me. A lot of pluses in Victoria. Remember, when you look at states that haven't been performing, sometimes there is a reason. They've been oversupplied with property, wherever the case. But you can't dismiss the population of Victoria, right? Because it's still the second most populated capital city, okay? And when you see figures now which shows you property prices in Adelaide are higher than Melbourne, something's got to give. That's not going to stay like that long, okay? So don't dismiss Melbourne, Victoria. Okay, strong market demand, booming suburbs, Leppington and Austral. You know, again, guys, numbers don't lie. Anybody that bought a place in 2020, it probably would have been a house and land package, yeah? I'd be maybe hitting them for a loan or something, you know? Okay, they've done really well. They've made some equity, really good equity. And these are some comparisons as well. And the guys at the banks will tell you, because obviously banks employ valuers, and those valuers will need to go out and carry out a valuation, okay? And of course, valuations are only basically based on comparables, yeah? So, you know, there's enough data here to suggest that, you know, where you've purchased, eventually it'll become a fully fledged suburb. Turnkey, roads, streets, etc. And numbers there are staggering. You know, 1.2, 1.3. That's where you need to be if you're going to invest in these areas. Because remember, guys, we live in Sydney, the premier state, okay? It's not Dubbo. It's not some rural town 450 kilometres out, okay? This is where the growth is going to happen in that southwestern growth, and is happening. And then we can even start talking about areas further south, and we're talking, you know, your sort of your Wiltons and your Menangle Parks, yeah? How that growth corridor is just growing. So there's some great data there to keep a look at. Now this really excites me. Like I said before, we had the pleasure of working, and we still do work with Open Lot. And we've got members of the team here, Open Lot. We've got a great relationship with these guys. And we were really delighted when we saw these results that have come out through Open Lot, the top 10 most viewed suburbs. Okay? Most of you know where these places are, yeah? Look at 1 and 3, Austin and Leppington. And it's barely started, right? But that's when you make money in real estate, when there's still cows and there's still grazing land, you know, and there's still horses. I'm serious. Don't wait until it's already on current affair, because you're going to pay another 30-40%, okay? Forget about the rest. Do your own homework and try to follow the major players. We do. It's no coincidence that we're investing in the same areas that Lend-Lease and Stocklands have bought. They're massive companies, publicly listed companies, a lot more capital than we have and resources, okay? There's a reason why when you go to a McDonald's across the road you see a KFC, yeah? Or a Krusty Burger or whatever it's out there these days. They're all together, okay? They know there is a demand there. They've done their homework. It's no different, you know? When we buy these areas, we follow that pattern. We also look at what else is required there. It's no coincidence now that you're starting to see more and more childcare centres being built in subdivisions, and we're one of them. We think it's excellent, provides an additional service to the buyers, and on top of that actually adds a bit more kudos to the actual estate, okay, in terms of premium. Because remember, one day you might be buying this home to live in it, another day it could be the case that you might be deciding to rent it out. So one of the things you want to make more appealing to that potential tenant is that, is it close to a bus stop? Is it close to a shop? Have I got this? Have I got that? Very important, okay? But that's huge. We found that huge. And what else have you noticed? I spoke about Box Hill before. Now Box Hill, if you were to buy a block of land in Box Hill, you're paying almost close to $3,000 a square metre, okay? $3,000 a square metre. Incredible. Put that in perspective, $300,000, yeah? 900K. Okay, same block of land in Austral Leppington is around 730, 740, some 680, it just depends. Now where do you think is going to happen when most of these people that decided to live on this side of Sydney find out, they go, Mum, Dad, you know, we still want to go overseas, we still want to go to Wally World, Disneyland, etc., etc. But if we're going to build something here, we're going to be looking at 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, yeah? So what's the alternative? They have to cross the Great Western Highway, which 20 years ago would never have happened, believe me. People that lived on the opposite side of the Great Western Highway would never consider moving south, and vice versa. Today it's different. So what we're starting to see is people that normally would be looking at Box Hill, or your Rouse Hills, or your Hills District, I've either got a choice to either buy a villa, a townhouse, or a unit, and pay massive money in body corporate, continue in body corporate, or move to the south, where land is still affordable. Because at the end of the day, the banks will tell you there's only so much budget. We've all got a budget. So you need to decide, particularly if you buy a house and land package, on where you want to spend more. The money on the house or money on the land, okay? And some of the more, Tarmore, another area, you know, Edmondson Park is pretty much now gone. What's left in Edmondson Park is really units and a couple of townhouses. And Riverston, you know. Riverston 20 years ago, half the time it was flood affected. You couldn't even drive through there. Seriously, okay? So the pick of the crop now, you start to see more and more inquiries around these areas as well. Yeah? Okay, I'm going to wrap it up in another 5 minutes. Just going to quickly cover some of the things in terms of our estates. We've got about 5 subdivisions happening out there tonight. I'm just really going to cover 1 or 2. But Rickard Gardens is a very, very successful estate of ours. Great location. Okay, you're all familiar, of course, with Leppington in this area. This new Leppington village was only built quite recently, okay? And again, there's a reason why Woolies are there, okay? They just didn't decide 6 months ago to decide to put there, okay? They've been looking at that spot for close to 10 years. We looked at this for close to 5. So the amount of work and due diligence that Woolworths have done, knowing all too well, knowing how much the roads are going to change, the infrastructure, all the services are going to bring people to this area to do what? To move in and build houses. That's what you need to follow. Okay, that's a layout subdivision. Remember when I spoke before about traditional blocks? Reloaded, yeah? And of course, our popular battle axe blocks. Okay? That's a typical layout on this particular subdivision. There's only about 2 or 3 blocks left at Rickard Gardens. As I said, we control the subdivision from start to finish. This particular estate, if you're looking for something in terms of land already registered, we can't help you. All our registered land is gone, sold. This is the next one available that is going to register, and it will register around about February of next year. Okay, so if you were to drive out there tomorrow, you'll see the SwoopLand signs, etc., etc. All our civil works guys are already working on it. Everything's been cleared. Some of the roads have already been dug in. Yeah, okay. And then within 2 or 3 weeks' time, asphalt will come in, tarred, the roads will be sealed, and then away we go. And then before you know it, in 12 months' time, you'll be going, oh yeah, there's a couple of houses already been. And then the boys like Brolin Homes and Macassar and all our other builders will be building out there, okay, for land that's already registered, okay. Again, why do we buy that land? Well, there you go, 15 minutes from the new airport, minute down the road. We knew there was going to be a village there when we bought the land, okay, it wasn't pot luck, okay. Again, got to do your homework, guys. Public school, station, and there's a reason why they built a station there, okay? Leppington follows which station? Edmondson Park, okay? 3-4 years ago, Edmondson Park, there was nothing there. Now, of course, you've got a thriving shopping centre, you've got houses, you've got apartments, it's pretty much almost built out, yeah? There's the station, and after that station becomes Leppington. Okay, 10 most inquired housing developments, and the reason we're showing you this is because one of our estates made top 10, and that's Leppington Square. With all our estates, when we acquire land, we always ensure that that land can register at certain intervals. There's no point us having 300 blocks of land all registering at the same time. Okay, so we're very careful how we make our subdivisions, and we're very careful how we time it so we can get those subdivisions working. So what does that mean? It means that some people in this room that are looking at buying might not necessarily have an opportunity to settle on something straight away. They may have spoken with Meg and her team and they go, look guys, you probably need 6 months of good savings, then come back and see us. If that's the case, then we have subdivisions that suit buyers that need a delayed settlement, a longer settlement, okay? And that's the opportunity that when you do buy land. The beauty about buying land, guys, is that what you pay for it today is what you sign off on it, okay? And as soon as you exchange that land and you've paid 500 or 600, 700K, it could be a 2-year settlement, and it's very common. Well, we've had developments where 2 years ago we started marketing, people have paid their deposit, they've exchanged, and now they're sitting on, in fact, equity of 50, 100, 150K. It's very common. I think there's a gentleman in the room that's probably done that. So this is also important, why I wanted to talk about this. Leppington Square is here, Rickard Gardens, our estate here. Now a lot of people, if you were to drive through Rickard Gardens, there's the station by the way, and drive this major arterial road, right? At the moment, if you wanted to get to Leppington Square, you can either take all this way down Heath Road and come back here, you're almost in, seriously, Canberra, or people drive down Heath Road and come down on Camden Valley, which is a bit of a pain in the backside because Camden Valley Road, you know, there's obviously a lot of traffic and so forth. But what is going to happen is that there is going to be some internal roads built through here. And we're going to be primarily responsible for that as one of the developers, and we're working very closely with another developer, and these roads will happen. So what does that mean? It means people, remember, are getting closer to get from point A to point B. And they'll no longer need to go down on Camden Valley Road. And in fact, this road hasn't been listed here, will actually come across and come through all here, right here, through Catherine Fields, and eventually to Oran Park. Okay, without going on Camden Valley Way. That's huge, huge. I'm telling you, it's going to add an extra $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on a block of land. It's not going to happen in 24 hours. It'll probably take 2 to 3 years. This, we are commissioned to do with another developer. It'll probably take 1.5 years. And then once that happens, this will come through here, Rickard, and it will cross over. And that will make its way. So there will be an internal roadway all the way to Catherine Fields and Oran Park. Okay, that's Leppington Square, 50 lot subdivision. This is probably more suited for people that need space and have got a little bit more of a budget. We're talking blocks 300, 350 and then 450, but this is a great estate. Education department has bought the land here, okay? Add a bit more kudos. We've got a childcare centre that's going to be built. It's going to add a little bit more premium as well. So, and there's, because of the blocks 450s, you're going to see some really good quality homes being built here over the years, okay? So that is something that we can also share information about as well too. And we also have, with the help of some of our preferred builders, a couple of potential packages as well too. But that is a lovely estate. Okay, Jojo. And the other thing that I'm going to touch on as well too, basically, for those of you that love the idea of having a block of land with a home and a studio that you can rent out, okay? Make sure you give Jojo your details, and over the next day or so, our team will be able to give you some information on some of the packages that we're doing at the moment that will incorporate a 4 or 5 bedroom home, a double garage at the back, and a studio on top of the garage, okay? This is ideal for someone that can secure and wants to build one of those homes with a studio and not need to worry to settlement for at least another 2 years, okay? It's not good for someone who wants something straight away in terms of moving in, okay? But that's when the money's going to be made, guys. You drive out there now, paddock. It's a complete paddock. In 3 years from now, you won't recognise it. Okay, Bellevue, 14th Avenue in Austral. So those of you that are leaning more towards Austral as opposed to Leppington, let me just add, Austral does have a more affordable entry level into Leppington, but that is starting to change, okay? So it is obviously a lot more affordable in Austral than it is in Leppington. Always has been. It's not to say it always will be. There are probably a couple of reasons for that. Predominantly at the moment it's because of the infrastructure. Leppington does have more of a retail arm as opposed to Austral, but that is going to be changing because there will be a shopping centre built in Austral and there'll be a lot more obviously improved services as the whole area starts to mature. But you can see here from Austral, we're in 14th Avenue. 15th Avenue is going to be a major player in Austral, yeah? 15th Avenue. Remember 15th Avenue, because when that airport is up and running, believe me, a lot of people are going to be using this road and they're going to be exploring how some of these areas and cities are starting to grow, okay? And of course, the Western City Airport's only 15 k's, and that's why we big believe that when the airport is going to be up and running and fully operational, the big beneficiaries are definitely going to be Leppington and Austral, no doubt about that. Okay. I just wanted to take the time out to thank a lot of the builders that have taken the time out to put packages together. We work with a lot of builders. Some buy land through us, others do house and land packages. Tonight is also about exploring some of these packages as well too. It doesn't have to be done this evening, but make sure you leave your discussions. And we do have members of the builders here today if you want to have a quick chat with them. Steve's here from Brolin, and we've got a couple of guys here as well. From Mikasa and Osden Homes, I believe as well too. But we are a conduit also for builders, okay, even though they buy land through us and do packages for us as well too. So we're happy to have those conversations for anybody that's interested. Grab your details and then we can put you in right contact with that as well. Okay, anything else? Jojo, is that it? Yeah. Okay, so thanks for listening, guys. We are going to have a Q&A if you've got any questions for both myself and Meg. Again, tonight is about just educating each other, finding out a little bit more. Yeah, so have we got a prize to give away?
Yeah,
prize?
let's kickstart the energy and we'll get a prize. We need to put them all in there first. Yeah.
Everyone all submitted there.
Everyone, yeah, let's make sure that everyone's, yes. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's okay. Complete it. Yes. Name and then number. Yeah, shake. Yeah. No, oh, they're inside the bag. Inside the bag, there's a pen. Yeah. No. There's some, yeah. You got
Have we got all the
okay, just
names in
making
there?
sure.
Yeah. Has everybody completed the forms?
Just
Boom. Thank you. Anybody else? Two more.
5, 4, 3. Kidding.
Pressure's on. Thank you. Yes, for good luck. Yes. All right.
Is that it?
All right. Who's going to choose it? Do you want me to hold it and you can choose it?
Are we going to announce? Are you going to announce?
okay.
The,
We're doing
are you going to announce the prize?
Yeah.
Yes, you announce the prize, Jojo.
For the third prize of tonight,
Jojo.
beautiful 24 pieces cutlery set. Let's see who's the lucky winner.
Yes.
All right.
I believe that's signed as well by the NAB team as well. Is that right?
Yeah, autographs and everything.
Okay,
yeah.
fantastic.
Like,
Looking forward to seeing the
I
colour.
don't think I'm shaking them much. Let me just move them around in here. All right. All right. Nam Young Kim.
Nam Young King.
Ah,
Hey!
well done. I'll leave that out so we don't get the same person
You know,
again.
Nam,
Take a picture
judging
with
by
us.
your impression, your reaction looks like you've never won
She's
anything
happy.
before.
She's happy.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Will I be right?
Yeah.
How good is that?
Well done.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yay!
Woohoo. Yeah, we'll do
a
second
winner.
prize now. Yeah, beautiful.
Next
Next one.
She was
All right, Nick, you can choose this one out. I
Oh.
can't shake it, Nick. You're just going to have to dig in there.
Okay.
No looking.
How many did I fill out of these?
Yeah, about 5. You've got a got good odds. Good odds.
Meg. No, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I can't believe I've pulled out this name. He is related to me. No, I'm only kidding. Aldo De Royt.
Ah. No, deserving
Picasso Homes.
winner. Oh, I feel like this would. I feel like you'd like. Look at that. That looks great.
No, and ladies and gentlemen,
There
he's
you
not my
go.
cousin.
There you go.
Come and we'll take a picture
Congratulations.
with the winner.
Yes.
Whoop,
You
whoop,
can,
gotta
you
go
can
in the
put your
middle.
iced. You can put your iced tea
Nearly
in
fell over
there.
the chair. There we go.
3, 2, 1.
Awesome. Well done.
You
Congrats.
can put your iced tea in there, mate.
Yes. Sorry, I forgot about
Your
that.
ginger beer. Okay.
I'll put this one behind so we don't
There you
end
go.
up.
Yep.
Q&A, guys. We'll open it
Q&A.
up to the
Any
room.
questions and answers, guys?
Whether you have any questions or you would like to speak to someone individually.
We just want to know if 5% for the first home buyer loan
Yes.
period, no limit period, so now we can make a 5% deposit.
Sorry. Yes. Beautiful.
Next.
Here you go. I'm going to get Christina to stand up and she can answer this one.
That's great.
The 5% deposit. Sorry, do you want to ask the question again for me?
Yeah, if we want to make 5% now, so since now, no any period.
So with NAB, there is a 3-month genuine savings period, but typically, with everyone as well, not only NAB, that you need to have it in your account soon for at least 90 days.
I think it's more around the expiration of the home guarantee scheme if they apply for it now.
Oh, it's just the typical 90 days of the same loan, the same term as the pre-approval, but we can always refresh it as well.
Yeah, we can always renew it. Yeah, once you're eligible once for that scheme, you will continue to be eligible. Yeah. As long as you don't buy another property in between. Yes. Yeah.
What about the stamp duty? Any limitations or any changes? Because, I mean,
Unfortunately, stamp duty
Stamp
waiver
duty.
has, or stamp duty concession has stayed at 800 to $1 million, I believe. So that hasn't increased at all.
800 to $1 million.
What was it?
So, no stamp duty if it's below 800.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yep.
800 to $1 million, then you have a concession depending upon what the price of your property is. Over $1 million is 4%. That's the property of the price. So, 1 million to 1.5, you pay full stamp duty. There's
Full
no
stamp
concession.
duty. And from 8 to 1 million, it's
There's a discount on that concession. I can help you out.
Yeah.
Usually a customer of mine bought for 900. He paid around some $29,000.
On $1 million property.
900. 900.
But I think each situation will be
It's
slightly
different.
different, so it'd be best to speak to someone then just to make sure we get the right accurate figure for you. Sorry. Hold that. Yes, sorry, yes. Excellent. Any other questions? No? Yes?
I have a question. Sorry, I'm loud enough, I think. So in terms of the house and land packages, right? I have a question for the developer.
Yes.
Yeah, so, because I know a lot of my friends, when we're looking to buy something like this, we have a hesitation in regards to if I can be frank, right? Are we as purchasers kind of protected by the price? Like, let's say we, enter the market at an earlier stage, right?
Yeah.
It is.
The point I made before is that
Yeah.
well, twofold. Firstly, when you look at a house land package, the whole idea is that, of course, it's a split contract for starters. So you're going to have a contract for the land and a contract for the house. What we try to do as a developer, work closely with the builder to ensure that those contracts are signed simultaneously. Okay? And a number of reasons for that. So basically, the process is very much you would secure a block, take the property off the market. At the same time, we have a conversation with that particular builder about the package, and then you will secure both. So the idea is basically that when you take that property off the market, we will basically honour that price. As long as you exchange it within a given time, which is about 14 days. Okay? So your price is already protected. We also, the conversations that we have with our builders, is that for peace of mind and protection, we also like to
Yeah.
yeah, I did, sorry. We ensure with the conversations we have with our builders that they give our clients a fixed price contract, and sometimes that price contract is, should I talk here? Better? I don't think it works.
It's for
Yeah.
online. Yeah. For online.
So there's a fixed price contract on the land and then a fixed price contract on the build. It's always difficult. Our biggest challenge, as I said before, is often with council or Sydney Water. Because at the end of the day, right, for us it's important that we register the land as quickly as possible because that's how we get paid. And that land, the longer it takes for us to register, the longer it's going to take builders to build, yeah? And the longer it's going to take your clients to come and get their loan approval, and all of a sudden it just becomes that continuous spiral. Okay, so what we try to do is that as soon as you exchange, we will honour that price. So your land price is fixed, and the builders will do the same accordingly, on the assumption that everything is done, at the same time, which we coordinate anyway. So when you're dealing with the house and land packages, we'll either be dealing with us internally or some of our selected external agents that promote house and land packages on our behalf and on the builder's behalf. So it's peace of mind, okay? Unless, of course, the builder, if this land takes another further 6-12 months before we expect it to register, then of course you can't expect the builder to honour that price. And that happened at COVID, yeah? Anybody that would have committed to a block of land prior to COVID happening would have had a conversation with a couple of builders, whether it's Mojo, Mac Jones, whatever the case, locked into an agreement. The land would have been fixed, but the builder would have had a tender for 6 months, maybe 12 if you're lucky, on the assumption that that land is registered. Now, if that land doesn't become registered, i.e. COVID, what happens? The tender goes, well, yeah, we can't build this house anymore for $350, we're $450 to build. And that happened. Frames went up 30, 40 grand. A lot of mates were all over the company. Okay, you never record it. I'll tell you, he's an estimator. How many times would you get a phone call from the supplier saying the price has gone up with bricks? Sam. Yeah, there you go. There you go. He's the main man. Okay? I'll tell you, frames go up, bricks go up, labour goes up, and what do we have in this country? We've got a shortage of labour, yeah? So put two and two together, if you don't lock it in, then you're going to start paying a very heavy price. So the beauty about locking into those house loan packages, guys, like I said, you there? That's all. Is, you want to put it here? You can tell I'm a patient man, though. Not really. So the key is it'll give your clients peace of mind when we lock in. So they're reassured that if for whatever reason that land doesn't register, you might not have the reassurance from the builder because the builder is working with certain parameters, but the land is fixed. Okay, and that's good peace of mind. So in theory, what happens when that land does register, then in all reality, you've already made, on paper anyway, some equity. Yeah?
Actually, two questions for both. One is you say that you've got builder partners. Usually, what is their construction period? A. And for NAB is like construction loans for first home buyers. Are there any special, does NAB do them, or are there any special, how can I say, products for that?
I'll let you go first.
Yeah.
Build times.
Yeah, so, well, obviously, a lot of the builders that we work with have different rules and regulations, but most of the builders generally have a tender period that could be valid for 6 months, sometimes 12 months. McDonald Jones, who we have a relationship with, they're doing 2 years. But there's certain terms and conditions with that. So like everything in life, you have to read the fine print, right? However, most builders, would I be right in saying that, boys? Steve, Brolin, yeah?
9-10 months.
Yeah, 9-10 months, okay, in terms of that. So that's generally pretty much the norm, you know. 5 years ago it was about 6 months because we were more realistic in meeting regulation timeframes with registration. Now because, you know, I mean, let's be honest, and you know, fair say to Liverpool Council, I know it might sound like I'm bagging them, but I'm really not. But Liverpool Council have got a situation where they've had all these constituents living in the area that were predominantly rural, and all of a sudden their population has exploded. So they just don't have the resources. And most town planners, right, have left and gone to private enterprise, right, to get paid more, okay? And that's generally what, oh, it's true, let's be honest. And I know a couple of town planners, they were with council and all of a sudden they got offered better salary, better working conditions, less red tape, and bingo, off they go. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what you would be looking at. 6 to 12 months is generally the guide. And look, we also work closely with a lot of our builders. Part of the other thing by owning the site and doing the development is we're able to communicate with our clients to say, guys, this is what's happening. Sometimes nothing happens, because again, there's only certain things we have to do, and we're guided by council and Sydney Water. And then from there, the builders will then follow through. But we're always constantly keeping our clients posted and up to date, saying this is what's happening. Here's some photos, here's some videos. George and the team have been brilliant with us. You know, they've been with us, they're part of the family. Everything that we capture from the time we do, you know, the digging of the soil to, I don't know, maybe doing an exorcism or something like that, I'm not sure. We film it and we keep everyone posted. And that's good science, because that's, you're starting to see your wealth grow, you know what I mean? You will. It's a no-brainer, in a sense, as long as you hold and don't treat it as a speculative buy. And you can still do that. You know, we do often sell land as options, but there are certain restrictions, and I'm not going to talk about put and call options because that's another conversation. But there are a lot of ways, I guess, to how to skin a cat and make money on land. But that's another conversation. I think we'll charge for that one. What do you think, Meg?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
We can talk about that one.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Thanks.
JP.
So yes, at NAB we have got a construction loan for first home buyers, and the best part is that during the construction it's on interest only, so it's lighter on your pocket because you'll be paying rent as well. One of the main conditions is when you're constructing is basically you need to have the land, and land needs to be registered, and you need to have the contract, the build contract at the same time. Yeah, we can do pre-approvals probably in an hour for you, right? And unconditional if you've got both of them ready, possibly in a couple of hours. Assess. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean,
For 2 years.
yeah. Yeah, and that's huge.
Of the bill. So yeah, not 2 years in total, but 2 years from
I
the
was
first
sleepy and
request
hungry.
bill.
Can I say how many progress payments? 4, 5? What,
It depends on the stages,
Yeah.
but 5 generally. Yeah.
5 progress payments.
Yeah, depending on the stages and builders slightly different, but yeah.
Yeah.
Five.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. 2 years is quite good. Very good.
What's the interest rate now?
Oh, that's a hard question, that one. Okay, but I'm your person for this one. I'll take that, yeah. So again, it will depend. I think the good thing is if you're looking at the first home guarantee scheme, technically you're borrowing 95%, right? And I'm not sure if everyone knows in the room, but when we look at interest rates from NAB, generally the higher the LVR, the higher the rate. Okay? The lower the LVR, so the loan to value ratio, so the property versus the loan, the better the rate it will be. But fortunately, the way we consider our first home buyers backed by the government, we consider it an 80% lend, because obviously the government is backing the rest. So the rate will vary then depending on the value of the loan, obviously. So I don't want to quote you any rates because you have to do it sort of individually. But you would be sitting at that sort of, don't quote me guys, but you know, rates are, yes, indicative and subject to change, but roughly around that 5.39 mark. Yeah, potentially better just depending on the loan size again, right? Yeah.
Meg, can I throw a question at you?
Is it
Some
a
people in this room
Yes.
might be self-employed.
Yes.
Or might have credit impaired issues. I mean,
Yep.
you know, we've all had our problems, etc., etc.
question. Yep.
But what's the rundown there?
Yeah, for
How
sure.
do you view serviceability?
Self-employed, it's like doing PAYG for us. That's not an issue. I guess the issue is as long as your business is making enough money, right? So, like you said, there's still a while yet before we get to that period. And I would say for those of who are, have really good accountants, you want to make sure to service the loan, right? So that's one key thing for our self-employed customers is we need to make sure that on paper and when we're lodging it with the ATO, everything is going to be sufficient. So we still look at, affordability.
So that's through profit and loss statements, balance sheets?
Yeah, correct. ATO portal, etc. And then when it comes to credit, even if you've had some issues with credit, again, I don't want to speculate every single person's, circumstance might be slightly different. But, we've had customers who might have had a fine, they didn't pay it, it goes into, default, things like that.
Yeah.
And there are always things where we're happy to challenge. And if there's, a reason behind it, a story behind as to what's happened, and the debt is paid, has to be paid,
of course.
and the debt has already been paid, we will 100% at least support it to go to our credit teams because we've got fantastic credit teams that support us each and every day. But the majority of our loans are approved by our system. So 85, I would say, % are approved first time in our system. We don't need to go any further than that. We just verify documents from there.
And can I ask, do you do gifts? A lot of, European families, Asian families, all families try to help the young ones.
Oh, that
Do you
kind of
take
gifts. I thought you meant gifts after you get a home loan. I was like, oh, I don't know about, yeah.
No, family
I thought, do we come to the house with the bottle of wine and, but I get what you're
we
saying.
can take care of that. We'll
Yes.
organise that. Yeah.
So if it's for home guarantee scheme, it has to be genuine savings.
Right. Okay.
Up to 5%. However, we do include rental. So if you're paying rent right now, that is actually part of genuine savings. So you don't
really?
need to potentially, So
Okay.
you will need to have your 5% though, because
yeah,
you've got to
of
pay your
course.
deposit.
Yeah.
But if you're paying rent and it's been over that consecutive period and it amounts to that 5%, we can look at that for you as your 5%.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
So there's options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flexibility to lending.
Yep.
Guys, do we have any other questions?
guys? Otherwise, I'm more than happy to. We could call our very last price and then we can mingle,
Yep.
have some conversations individually, because I think that's where sometimes the gold is, where you want to be able to speak to someone one-on-one and be able to get that information, whether it's with SwoopLand or it's with NAB or some of the builders in the room. I think that's where you'll probably get the most value to be able to talk about your own individual circumstance. Sound good? Yeah. Let's do the last prize.
Okay.
Yes. Oof, coffee machine. Sounds good. All right.
Wow, this is heavy.
Wow.
Lucky winner.
I want to bring up Andrea because she helped put this all together from NAB. Come up, Andrea. Andrea's been in my team now for 3 months, going on 3 months, yeah?
Yeah.
and she's come from an accountant background. It's a little bit different, but she's been amazing in putting this all together with me today. So you're going to be calling out the last lucky winner for me, Andrea. All right, let me, yeah, there we go. Okay, no peeking.
Get it ready. I'll do it right, not again.
Okay. Kathy Chu.
Kathy True! Yes! Congratulations!
Wow.
Let's take a picture, Kathy.
Yep.
Beautiful. Well done.
Congratulations.
Congrats. All right, guys. I think if there's any food still left, but I know there's drinks. Please go out. Feel free to have a refreshment and have some conversations. Thank you so much for coming, Nick. Do you want to say anything else? Thank you.
No, not at all.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
everyone
much.
attending. And please interact. Please mix. Grab some cards, and we go from there. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's off. Well done. Congrats.
Oh yeah.
That was amazing. Thank you.
stuff, thank
Very
you.
good stuff. All right. Yeah.
Yay! Congrats.